So, we're continuing our talk on Edmonton and goaltenders, because this popped up a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know, it's a few weeks old, I'm sorry, we're talking about this late. And I thought it was interesting enough to bring up on the YouTube channel, because when it comes to the Oilers, they're a team that pretty much has everything on lock. You have Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl doing their thing, top of the league, you know what it is. You have guys stepping up on the blue line, Tyson Barrie getting points like he had been last season. You have Darnell Nurse playing a whole bunch of minutes, which you're not surprised to see. And you have the rest of the lineup pulling their weight as well. However, you take a look at the one part of the Edmonton Oilers that at the time isn't really all as consistent as the rest of the lineup is, and it's what you have in net. Now, full disclosure, I'm recording this video the morning of Thursday, November 11th. The Oilers have themselves, how many games do they have before this video is going to be uploaded here? Let's search up the Oilers schedule. They have themselves a game today against the Bruins, and then they have a game against the Sabres tomorrow. Those games have not happened yet at the time of recording this audio. I'm going on the trip, so I have to pre-record videos like crazy. But when it comes to the Oilers and their goaltending tandem, Mike Smith, hey, sorry Smith, he's out. He's on the IR right now, so they have Mikko Koskinen as their full-time goaltender over here. And lo and behold, you know, things can change from now and this video's upload time, but Koskinen has not really been known for his significant consistency, I guess you could say. Right now, as of recording this audio, yes, he is at a .920 save percentage and a .254 goals against, which is absolutely fantastic. However, you take a look at what happened in the Detroit game, for example, the giveaway out in front to Dylan Larkin. You take a look at the odd game or two where one of these guys, Smith or Koskinen, just completely gives up on a play and doesn't see things properly. The Oilers are a great team. It's just their goaltending is questionable at worst and inconsistent at best. Oh, Lego, you're so nitpicky, man. How are you arguing against a consistent .920 save percentage shared between Skinner, Koskinen, and Smith? Well, it's only been like 10 games, you know? Like, we have to go out there and at least assume that some of these guys are going to come down back to earth because, historically speaking, Mikko Koskinen in the playoffs and in some parts of the regular season, he was never really the guy that the Oilers thought they were getting when they signed him to that big contract at $4.5 million a season. Is he the guy that's going to help you win a Stanley Cup? Is Mike Smith that guy too? These are questions that a lot of Oilers fans have had, which is why in a recent Mailbag segment on The Athletic, this was, again, from October 30th, so it's from a while ago, we had ourselves a discussion brought up by Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Do the Oilers need to trade for a goalie? Is Tyson Barrie movable? Repercussions for Duncan Keith? This is your Oilers mailbag. Now, this is The Athletic, so we're not going to go out there and screenshot any of the material in this article right here. We're just going to leave a link in the description. If you have The Athletic, you can go ahead and read that. But the idea of trading for a goaltender does bring itself up. Here's an article on beerleagueheroes.com that has the quote we're pulling from. Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic reports the Oilers GM Ken Holland says he believes in his goaltending, but there is no question an upgrade is something he would strongly consider, and something that is more likely than not to occur. Nugent-Bowman went on to say that both Marc-Andre Fleury and John Gibson could be on the Oilers' radar. Now, these are only two names out of maybe 5, 6, 7 potential options that could be upgrades from the NHL's list of goaltenders. And when it comes to these two, I think it's really interesting to go out there and highlight just the names and the teams specifically, because I get it, this article is a bit outdated. It's from a week and a half ago, but that doesn't mean we're void of talking about these players over here. In fact, we had discussed already another name, Joonas Korpisalo, the other day, so Oilers fans, if you want to go out there and get your 2 cents in about any of these goaltenders, hey, the comment section is your floor. It's just for Korpisalo, we also discussed about the Canadiens and the Coyotes and the Sabres. A few other teams were in those discussions as well. So, when it comes to Marc-Andre Fleury, going over his name first and foremost, he has been, how do I say it? He's been bad. The Fleury that we saw last year that won the Vezina and was the best goaltender in the league, he might be the same Fleury today. It's just the team that he is playing on is really not giving him any support to show that off. Vegas, as we had noted in previous videos, was known for their defense. Theodore, Pietrangelo, Martinez, all these guys were great, and their defensive system was so top class that it made Marc-Andre Fleury's job a lot easier than it has been in Chicago, where the defense just has not been there. Seth Jones is getting points, yes, but Seth Jones is still looking bad. You see some of the goals that Marc-Andre Fleury is letting in, and they're just kind of defensive breakdowns. It's okay, Patrick Kane is back-checking, but he's not taking a man. It's okay, how the heck did that offending player just waltz his way right to the front of the net with no damage whatsoever? Fleury's been having a tough job, and the numbers definitely do reflect that. Right now, as I record this video, he's at an .892 save percentage and a .381 goals against. This would be, if he keeps this up, the highest goals against average number he would have in his entire career, spanning back to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 03-04, where he was at a .364. So we're literally going back to the Marc-Andre Fleury of, what is that? My goodness. 18 years ago, with how bad he has been performing this season with the Chicago Blackhawks. And I don't want to go out there and say that he's all too bad. Like, he is 37 freaking years old, or excuse me, he's turning 37 later this month. So he's definitely not young, but as we saw with Vegas, man, you just give this guy a good decor and he knows how to play well. I don't know if Marc-Andre Fleury, bearing all the weird things that have happened to him the past few months with the Josh Anderson giveaway and the other strange goals that have been scored against him as a member of the Blackhawks, I honestly would personally have more faith in him than I would Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen, even though Smith and Koskinen have been off to a very hot start. Then going over onto John Gibson. Gibson is playing on a very good Anaheim team. Right now this season he's 6-2-0. He's got a .927 save percentage and a .234 goals against. He has been absolutely spectacular in his entire NHL career so far. And I mean, look, as a guy who is a fan of the Vancouver Canucks, just seeing Gibson literally come into this building and win every single time, it's really cementing in my heart that Gibson is probably going to take that starting spot for Team USA over Demko, and then he still has Hellebuck to beat out as well. But either way, John Gibson is playing on a good team. He's putting up some good numbers. He's pretty cheap too, 6.4 until 2027. And to be fair, you know, for the caliber of goaltending that John Gibson can provide, I definitely do think that's worth it. And he is in the prime of his career right now. The problem is, if you want to go out there and debate that Gibson should be your guy instead of Fleury or a Korpisalo, he's going to be a lot more expensive. Korpisalo has got a year left, and he is being outplayed by Merzlikins. Fleury is, I mean, he's on Chicago, so that debatably writes its own story over there. And Gibson, he's doing really well on an Anaheim Ducks team at the time of this video. If you take a look at where they are in the standings, is one of the top teams in the entire gosh darn Western Conference. They're in a big tie for third place. Now, again, this video is being recorded on Wednesday in the morning, so by the time it's up on Saturday afternoon, who knows how the standings are going to change, but I don't really think they're going to adjust that drastically. Anaheim's a good team. If you want to pry away John Gibson, it's going to be tough. So when it comes to these goaltending options so far, would any of these guys be an upgrade over Koskinen and Mike Smith? In my opinion, I would trust them, John Gibson, especially in a playoff series, more. Yeah, that's right, even though Fleury is playing some pretty poor hockey right now, everybody on Chicago is, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially as the reigning Vezina winner. But of course, if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments why that is. In fact, if you disagree on everything here, let me know in the comments. Do you even want to make a trade for a goaltender if you are an Oilers fan? Do you like Koskinen? Do you like Smith? Do you think that their .920 save percentages to kick off the year is sustainable? Is sustainable? Are sustainable? Do you think they are sustainable? Yeah. Would you rather see the Oilers go out there and keep their assets, keep everything they have, and just say, screw it, we're going into the playoffs with Koskinen and Smith as our 1-2, and if we really need somebody, we have Skinner in the minors. That is not bad either. But if you are one of the many Oilers fans that thinks the contrary, what would you give up for a Fleury or a Gibson, or heck, even a Korpisalo too, because we had already discussed him in a previous video? If you are a fan of any of these other teams, Anaheim or Chicago, what would you want from Edmonton for your starting goaltender? I believe a lot of Anaheim fans probably would not even want to entertain that idea because of how good the Ducks have been as of late. But for Chicago, I think it opens up the door to a more fun discussion there as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this was Rolls 99, and Bye.